a TikTok recently went viral satirizing this person, the personality hire, who doesn't actually put in a lot of work, but gets away with it because they're such a nice, warm person. They're a social lubricant of sorts. So,
please, I never thought I'd live for the day when somebody said social lubricant.
Let's watch the video.
Let's watch the video. All right, here we go.
Hi guys. I'm sorry I'm late. Ooh, you look gorgeous. How are you?
I'm very stressed out. We have the big presentation today and hi.
First of all, the hair touching thing, that's an HR offense right there. I'm just saying.
Caroline and I have worked on this project nonstop. I mean, like, it's our baby.
Been up all night about it.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
What's the project about today?
I have no idea. Do you guys think we need to get an extension?
Yeah,
100%.
We can't call Greg. He's so scary.
So Greg is our CEO. I'll call Greg.
What?
Really? Of course.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Let's call Greg.
Greg is so terrifying.
Greggy. Hey you. Where are you? How are your kids? I didn't know that. Star's doing school production. Annie. I love Annie.
Oh.
She's playing Annie.
Oh.
Greg, that's so amazing. Hold on one sec, Greg. What am I asking you?
Presentation. Yeah.
Greg, you know I could stand here and talk Annie with you all day. But Greg, I have to ask you something. We're gonna need a couple days, Greg. Take a week?
Oh.
Yeah, let's touch base next week. I want to come to Annie. Back to the important stuff. Where are you? I'll come meet you right now. Yeah, let's freaking eat a brioche and talk Annie, my guy. I'll be right back, okay?
Okay.
Greg is going to have some alimony if he's not careful.
One comment said, like, she's probably hooking up with Greg. But this personality hire is who Gen Z aspires to be. Gen Z workers say they should be hired for their personality, not productivity. Quote, "We set the vibes." So what's your take on this, Brett? What do you think?
I think that this is born out of big tech's venture capitalist based model where they have ping pong tables in the hallway and they ride around on scooters, right? And it's not how the real world actually works. Plus, that's insinuating that everyone wants to have that person around them that just is there for vibes when some people would prefer to work alone or at least be left alone at work. And it's not a job. It's not a job. I looked up, it's really funny. I asked, this was on Reddit. It says, for recruiters, do you vibe check? This is an actual thing that they were asking people.
Well, it's a silly way to word it.
So it says, and somebody says vibe check equals soft skills. If you don't sound enthusiastic to talk to be about what you do, then you don't pass the vibe check. I want to hire someone who can not only articulate what they do, but also genuinely like their area of work. But that's not what Gen Z is saying.
Well, they say their self-perceived function in a corporate setting is to provide all the jokes, banter, and playfulness needed in order to set the vibes. TikToker and corporate America employee Bella Rose, a 22-year-old self-proclaimed chief vibes officer, the CVO, told Business Insider that her previous managers have appreciated her energy, calling it the nicest compliment she's received. I think that my take on this is a little bit spicy. I think that calling it a chief vibes officer or anything about a vibe check or setting the vibes is stupid, but they're articulating something that's very real. And given that I was hired after a vibe check is a testament to that fact. Like, your personality has a lot to do with, and sometimes more to do with, the jobs that you get than your skills or your resume and what you are on paper, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of Gen Z, it's interesting because a lot of Gen Z lacks basic social skills. So they aren't really the people that we're talking about here. Like, if you aren't able to hold a conversation with someone in a different generation than you without bringing up like TikToks, then you are not the personality hire that we're referring to. But those soft skills, as they refer to them, are really important. And also, I remember, this is funny, like when I was on IRL with Darren Beatty like ages ago, he talked about this. like the way that tech firms are funneling in female hires to meet diversity quotas might actually have a positive impact unintentionally, where the male coding monkeys who are just at work all day doing the grunt work that is needed to keep these companies running, they have an emotional relief from talking to the, you know, product designers or marketing girlies who are in the other department. So he, you know, gets done with
They don't go
he
to
gets
talk
done
to
with
the marketing girlies for...
So look, this guy, what do we call him? Brad gets done with a big chunk of code, and he goes on break and talks to Emily from the design team.
He's talking to Emily because she's hot.
Okay, but that's also part of it. Like, especially for women in the workplace, they know that how they look and their tone, which you were talking about earlier, like being warm and affectionate, friendly and nice. All of these things are immensely important for female hires specifically. So
the problem
that is an actual value that you can provide to a company. It's not just something that you can put on a resume.
The problem is there needs to actually be some type of like what they're saying here is that's the only thing they do. In like this recruiter saying they have to be both good at their job and have the soft skills to be able to raise the vibe of the office. But you can't just do that because there isn't unless you're going to go like what by the company's up 30% in this quarter, and it's because of the vibes officer who kept morale up in the office. There's so many factors that go into what make a company profitable that there's no way to actually figure out what the benefit for that is on paper unless you're just going to do like customer or like employee comment cards, like how do you feel about the environment here at work, and even then that feels so HR.
Well, you're being very facts don't care about your feelings, but it's also true that feelings don't care about your facts, and people get hired for jobs that they are not qualified for all the time because they pass the vibe check, whether you want to call it that or not.
And
it's
this
true.
is email jobs because they're not vibe checking out on Deadliest Catch.
And as we go deeper into a recession era in this country, I'm sure a lot of these useless laptop jobs are going to be, you know, disappearing.
Also, Vibes Check is the first person to go when the economy tanks. Vibes Check person is
I don't
gone.
Know. I don't know.
It's also it's really funny. I saw an ad for Timberland the other day that it was weirdly based in which it's like it was basically for people working the blue collar jobs. It showed a bunch of people on oil rigs, a bunch of people out doing manual labor, and says there out here there is no checking to see if you're the right cultural fit. And I looked up, I'm like, let's go. So it was basically laughing at the idea of this coddled office environment that we've created here in America. I mean, it's still a product that's being packaged and sold to you, but that's the idea, right? Like now the skit for this would be like having somebody be the vibes check while out on an oil rig. Like who's the vibe check out on the oil rig, right? Or firefighters, right? Who is the vibes check to make sure that you don't die in a blazing inferno because the firemen weren't ready to do their job.
Well,
it's just
even when like
I really just think that this might be like a women. Like I just don't. There's not going to be a whole ton of straight guys who are going to look at this and be like, yeah, that makes sense.
In that sliver of time between the Industrial Revolution and then the era where men were going to jobs outside of the home that were more white collar, but still hadn't brought in a lot of diversity, hadn't brought in a lot of women in the workplace, that was probably a much better vibe and better productivity than we have today. Like,
also maybe
everyone knows that like when men are in an environment together without women there, they act in a different way.
Yes.
They are able to tell the jokes that they want to tell.
So what you're saying, Mary, is that women are the problem.
If women have to be in the workplace, they might as well provide a good vibe, is my point. Okay. Now, it's an absolute joke that they're getting hired at like LinkedIn to be in these useless laptop jobs and they get like free smoothies and eucalyptus towels.
Somebody in the comments
as long as they're there, they might as well provide something.
Somebody in the comments said, these are the girls who never did anything on the group project at school except show up for the presentation.
Underrated, though.
Somebody
I was always the person doing the work, though.
Somebody says, I work with Gen Z, and trust me, they are far from bringing a fun vibe in a workplace. They are standoffish, touchy, and glued to their phones and very quiet. If you're looking for fun, hire Generation X.
That's very true.
I agree. I actually do believe Gen X would probably be your vibe generation.
Yeah, that's why I was confused by this. Gen Z
but
isn't exactly known for their amazing social skills.
They want to be able to do. They want to be able to be paid for things they just do naturally.
Thank you.
They just want to be paid for stuff they're doing anyways.
I just sent you another TikTok about the personality hire.
Thank you, Ian. Wait. Does that make Ian? Is Ian the chief vibes officer?
I don't
He's
see
Gen
him
X.
around enough.
He's Gen X. Ian is Gen X. So
But he does raise the vibe.
He does. Ian always raises the vibe.
Yeah.
All right. This sent me the same one. Oh, there it is. Let me see if this is it here.
Pulling her weight in her own way. Heart emoji.
Yep, there we go.
Girl, did you get a haircut? God, like a half inch off the end,
Yes,
right?
it's
You look amazing. I noticed. Hi.
So we just got off the phone with that really mean client.
She yelled at Caroline.
She did.
She's withholding our invoice, so
Yeah.
we delivered a stellar product and she just doesn't want to pay.
We have to hop on a Zoom call with her like right now.
I'll get on the Zoom.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Why not? All right, let's see. Hi. Thanks for hopping on. Sorry, I can't help but notice your T-shirt at Camp Spring Lake. Are you a camp alumnus? So am I. Yes, so am I. Bunk 6.
I know for a fact Vienna never went to camp.
Am I remembering this correctly? Didn't you win the talent show?
So did you ever go to camp?
Third runner-up.
Sociopaths.
Oh, of course.
a
I
lot
remember
of
your
them.
performance. You were robbed. You were robbed. You were robbed. We need to dissect this. Do you mind just sending over the invoice quickly so we can talk about the important stuff? Thank you so much. I'm sending it to you right now. I'm emailing it to you. So, Carol, do you want to just do the routine for me? And I can let you know maybe some...
I think this is also. I think you're right. I think this is a product of just women in the work. This is something that women would value. I don't think most guys would value this. I think most guys would probably value collaborative environment and quiet to get the work done.
And offensive jokes.
And offensive jokes. I want to be able to make the offensive jokes that I make. Like, I really am screwed if I ever have to go work for another company, because I don't know what, like, I'm going to end up getting fired within the first couple of days by saying something offensive that I'll forget. I actually made the joke, like, when I was home, I was like, there are things like, now that I'm back in polite society, back home, not at work, there's things I can't say, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but look, as a Gen Z girl who was hired based on vibes.
You were not just hired based on vibes.
I had no prior experience doing anything.
You had social.
Of
You had
this
a social
nature.
media platform though at the time. That was actually a big part of it. Yeah.
Barely though. Like, let's be real. It was about a vibe check. I have to defend my kind here. I just have to.
But what you're doing now is not what they're doing in this video.
Yeah, but look, she successfully got the invoice.
You do not just show up here and say, "How are the vibes?" Like, is everything?
You gotta have both.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.